Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 4. And if you've been to the grades page and looked at my comments on your statement on a wicked problem, it was called a wicked problem as you see it, where you had to identify a problem in one paragraph and the next paragraph explain why other people would care. Ring a bell? As I introduced that assignment, I mentioned that it's the linchpin, the starting point of a semester-long writing and reading experience with that wicked problem. So here we go. We're at the next stage. Be sure to read through the to-do list, but let's go to the assignments page. And of course, there's the usual class discussion, due Wednesday and Friday, and the reading questions Friday. Let me open this up. There's a wicked problem. Now here's the sequel. Here's where you bring in some expert sources on it. You want to choose those sources carefully, but we'll get into that in a minute. Now, the topic of this is going to be what the expert sources have to say on the same wicked problem you wrote about before. That's really important. So don't pick a new problem, whatever you do. And you're going to need 3 sources. One of them will be through Google, at least one of them. Maybe 2, but one of them must be an article from a database Mesa College Library has. And you can't find these out on the web because these databases require a paid subscription, which the college pays. And access to those articles is limited by that gatekeeper. So you have to go to an online database where you pay to use it. And luckily, Mesa College has one. So let me walk you through that part. That's a little bit more involved than finding another web source like a website. Though that's important, let's get to the articles first. Okay, so you'll see right here, Mesa Library. Once you click that, this page opens. And like I say, you'll see that you want to go to the resource list for the A to Z databases. So here we are, resource list. And there are the research resources. If I scroll down for you a little bit, A to Z databases. Now there's another search method here, but a lot of that is for physical materials in the library. This is the A to Z databases. And this is a collection of all of the databases that contain articles on literally thousands of topics. Now you're going to want to do a search, of course. Don't worry about the database title because you don't know that. But what you can do is do a keyword search and or subject of your problem. And then I would make sure that it knows you're looking for articles. And off you go. Now, if you get stuck, and I mean stuck, if you spend more than 20 minutes on this and you've found nothing, I want you to do this. Ask a librarian. 24/7 live chat with a librarian. And that person's job is to help students find resources. So use that to get started finding an article you can actually use that shows some expert findings, research, study on your problem. Now, once you've done that, you've done the more time-consuming part of the research. Start early on this because there's a lot more research than there is writing. It's only 5 paragraphs after all. You've already written 2. And one of them you're going to recycle for this, but let me get to that in a minute. Then use Google to search. And if you haven't done a lot of Google searching, I imagine you have, but you type in your problem and then see how many results you get. If you get thousands, then you eliminate some words, try to narrow it down, or add words to reduce the number of results you get, and then look for sites that show actual research that has been done. And if it's by a local, state, federal government agency website, California, the city, the county, or a federal government agency, university affiliation. How would you know any of this stuff? If it's state, it would say ca.gov in the web link, the URL. If it's federal, it would say .gov. If it's a university, it would say .edu, just like here at Mesa. Or if it's a nonprofit, it would be .org. So look at that web address. It tells you a little something as you investigate your sources and see which ones are for real and which ones don't know what they're talking about. Now, your first paragraph of the last assignment, A Wicked Problem as You See It, can be the model for the first paragraph of this assignment. All you're going to add to that paragraph as you recycle it is you're going to say a little bit more about what you're up to. Add a sentence or two to that first paragraph. Your purpose of examining 3 sources that bring expert information that you're going to use. And how you organize this thing, remember, you're going to have a total of 5 paragraphs. Okay, the first paragraph is going to be your introduction paragraph. The next paragraph, the second paragraph, would be one of your 3 sources, and so on. You'll have a second, third, and fourth paragraph, each one dedicated to one of your 3 sources. And you're going to use this week's reading, The Art of Summarizing, and They Say, I Say. Don't have a website or an app like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Microsoft Copilot, any of those summarize it for you. That's plagiarism. Do not do it. And by the way, they leave a lot of important stuff out. So there'll be 3 summaries, your 3 sources, so your second paragraph, your third, your fourth. You're going to summarize the source. And think about what Chevalier says about framing a problem. How did the source frame the problem? Is it different than the way you conceive of the problem? That's important. Quote no more than 1 sentence for each source. And when we get to chapter 3, you'll see the best way to do that. Your 5th paragraph, this is your final paragraph. You compare each source to at least one of the others you discuss. So you're going to bring the whole family together in that last paragraph. Then you're almost done. Yeah, I mean, you've done the 5 paragraphs. You're pretty much done. You're 80%, 90% done now. This is going to be a little exotic, so don't forget to do this. But 2 spaces before your last paragraph, in other words, your 5th paragraph, type the full bibliographic citation of each of your sources. Okay? And there are also some things not to do here. Read through them carefully. Submitting the assignments a little different than the last time, since you're writing a few more paragraphs. Use Microsoft Word. If you don't own it, don't go out and spend any money. Use Google Docs, and then the file menu will allow you to save and download your essay in Microsoft Word. Okay? And as always, feel free to go to the chat room on the discussions page if you have questions. And let's get the week started.